Hey everyone, it's Riley. So this is my 6-month update for you guys on testosterone. I have a couple changes that I want to mention from like pre-T to now that I've had, and then questions that you guys have asked, which I'll be answering. So for changes, body hair wise, facial hair, honestly not that much, but it is slowly coming in. So it's exciting. There's a lot more. It's just a lot of peach fuzz. So I probably shave twice a week or trim it down, one of the two. So it is coming in, but slowly. Leg hair, pretty much from like my thighs down, it's definitely got a lot darker, a lot more, and a lot thicker. So leg hair is definitely coming in quite a bit, and then stomach hair, same thing. Starting to come in a lot darker, a lot thicker, and more. For body changes, my posture, I find, I'm standing up straighter. I just like the way I act in general is a lot better than before. Like I would slouch a lot, but I'm just more confident in who I am, and having top surgery definitely helps with that. So yeah, my posture, my shoulders, I find it has gotten quite a bit like wider, and a lot of my small shirts that I used to be able to wear don't even fit me anymore. So yeah, like my upper body, my across my shoulders has changed. My muscle mass has definitely gotten quite a bit bigger as well from being pre-T. And I noticed lately, like my veins in my hands are starting to come through quite a bit more. Same with like in my feet, and just like in general, my veins are starting to pop out. My voice has definitely lowered since before pre-T. I find it hasn't really changed too much, I don't think, since my 3 months. It's maybe slightly, but I haven't really noticed it too much, so I'm hoping it's going to drop again soon, but we'll see. Acne hasn't been too bad. Like, I've had a couple here and there. It just broke out a little bit recently, but it wasn't too bad. Honestly, overall, has not been that bad, which, like, I'm kind of shocked. I don't know, my first puberty was really bad, so it's kind of expecting the worst, but so far it hasn't been too bad. Also, for like face wise, I've noticed my facial structure has changed quite a bit since before pre-T. I know people say like your eyebrows have changed. That hasn't really changed that much, but my facial structure definitely has. And then onto the questions. So, what are you most proud about in your transition? For me, honestly, since before even transitioning and since like transitioning, I worked my butt off, to save money, found the right resources I needed. I had a bit of help, not much, though, so, 95% of my transition I've done by myself, whether it's from research to finding the doctors to actually getting there, and saving money for my top surgery. So, I'm very proud of that. It sucks to have to pay out, a lot of money, and then, it takes like 3 years or more to save up for that, and then it's just kind of like gone. But you know what, I don't regret it. I honestly love my results, and I do it again in a heartbeat. So I'm very proud of myself for getting myself here. What was the least expected change that occurred mentally? I don't really honestly have that many changes when it comes to mentally. Like, I am still pretty stable when it comes to the way I act. I don't get angry. The one thing I guess like I could say is like I am more confident, and I do find that, like, as time goes on, that I'm finding myself to be more comfortable in my own body, which, like, before even starting transitioning, like, I never thought would be possible. But, now it's like, even 6 months in, it's like I do find that I'm a lot more confident, a lot more myself, and feel just better in general. Have you become a more confident person, and how do you feel going in public now than you were pre-T? So, as I stated just then, I'm like, I am more confident now. Like, I still have my moments, and I still have dysphoria, so there's things that still affect me, but it's not as much, and I find, like I said, I'm standing up better. I, am just, the way I act, I find I'm just generally more confident. And going out in public for me is definitely not as much of a trouble as it was before. I pass pretty much almost all the time, maybe a couple times here and there with my voice, and sometimes people are iffy, but honestly I pass a lot more, so I'm not really too worried, or that often if someone is going to misgender me. If they do, I mean, hey, it happens, but Honestly, going in public, yeah, is a lot better. How has been on testosterone impacted your way of life? So examples are if you change the way you walk, confidence, etc. Um, it definitely has affected like my life in general because I'm like a very closed person. I love to get out with my friends and stuff, but I found like since probably the last 2 years or so, I really honestly didn't get out that much. I was a little bit more enclosed, didn't really talk to people because I knew that as soon as I talked, like I hated my voice, so they would misgender me. Um, so I find now like since starting my transition, I am going out more. I'm talking to people more often. I'm getting out and involving myself with other things and other people. Um, and they also asked any future major steps after testosterone. Right now, with my transition, having top surgery already done and 6 months in on testosterone, I'm just going to continue taking testosterone. Future goals, probably, or looking into getting bottom surgery. I'm still kind of on the fence, like I want it, but it's so risky and so invasive. So I definitely have to consider what doctors I like want to go to and where and whatnot. So that's one goal, and then other than that, like just keep saving my money, get a house, stuff like that. Just the kind of simple life stuff. Nothing too major. How are you? How are your relatives, siblings, family taking your transition? With my family, I have like a 50-50. One side of my family is very, very supportive. The other one is not. So my mom and her side of the family are very, very supportive. But then my dad's side and my stepmom's side are not. So, my mom and like everyone who I have on her side of my Facebook, call me by Riley, they slip up here and there, especially over the phone. But when it comes to, posting on my stuff, they don't usually ever slip up. But like I said, my dad and stepmom and their side family, it's still with my birth name, female pronouns and stuff. So, and they don't really accept it, agree with it, or, want really anything to do with it. But also, my little sister has been asking questions to them about me and like why I look like a boy and why I kind of like look different and sound different, stuff like that. So, they have explained to her. So I'm hoping, having her asking questions and like in a sense opening her mind to things will open up their minds and they'll come around a little bit more, and maybe it just takes time, but for now, like at least I'm still part of their life, but it does suck getting misgendered and stuff, but yeah. Last question, how does your transition affect relationships? For me, my first relationship that I had, I was with a girl on and off for 2 years, and I came out to her as transgender. She was the first girl that I was seeing / with. And she wasn't really that supportive. Used only really they them pronouns, and partner, she didn't use he him pronouns at all. Kind of didn't really like the fact that I was transitioning. We kind of got into like a couple fights about it, but so obviously like I'm not with her. And then after that, I met 2 people through my Instagram, which on my Instagram it says I'm transgender. So the first girl I met, she wasn't very supportive either though. Like she called me by Riley, which was nice. But I still used female pronouns, which was weird. I'm like, okay. And only really closer to the end, like when we weren't even together, then started using he pronouns. But I don't know, just didn't seem really supportive. But I still got like to meet people, and then I met another like girl through there for Instagram. I mean, and she was supportive, like call me by he him pronouns and by Riley. So in a way, like it hasn't really affected my relationships too much. Like I still meet people, but some of them haven't been supportive. But recently I met someone. We've been talking maybe like 2 months or so, and she's super supportive. Calls me by he him pronouns. Only calls me by Riley. Doesn't really know my birth name anyways, but even still, like we talked about it, and like she's never asked, and she's very I don't know, like careful of what she says and what questions she asks, so that's nice. So it's nice to actually have someone who's supportive. But meeting people, it's a little bit harder, but at the same time, like I've still met people. So anyways, I think that's really it. I'm hoping to do a video collage or whatever of voice updates / pictures for you guys. So keep your guys' eyes open.